Hello and welcome to Art with Miss Linda. We've started our first series. Most of you saw the foundation lessons, and I'm thrilled to see so many students' names that I recognize, and then there's so many new students that is so exciting for me. I am looking forward to interacting somehow to see your artwork, as well as you being able to see me every week and learning something that you're going to love. We're going to start out this series with a type of artwork. It's really not artwork. It's actually a mathematical term. It's symmetry. It's something symmetrical. If you're looking at me right now, hopefully my face is symmetrical. 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears. When something is a mirror image, when it's the exact reflection on each side. And when I do that, what does that remind you of? A butterfly, that's right. A butterfly is symmetrical. We look at things, and if you divide most things in half, you'll see that they will be symmetrical, that there's a balance of equality on each side. There is a type of, it's actually an art process. It's called Japanese Notans. I adore these. They are spectacularly beautiful. They can be extremely simple, and yet you can do something very elaborate to create an art piece that can be hung on any wall. You can use them to make greeting cards or covers on your books or anything that you choose, because once you see the project, you'll see what I mean. They're spectacular. Their concept is light and dark. Primarily, they will use black and white in their paintings. And using a balance of these two is used in every type of artwork, from the master's paintings, showing where the light and the dark is. A lot of times, artists will actually do a black and white study of what they're going to paint before they do it. So it's a very important way to look at things to make life easier. So it defines shapes, patterns, and one of my favorite things, and you'll hear me say it over and over again, is it is the way that we describe positive and negative space. You know, the background versus the actual drawing itself or the painting. So when we get through this, you will be able to look at things differently. You will be able to see the darkness and the lightness. You'll be able to see the positive and negative space. And both are as important. Negative space is just as important as positive space in your drawings. So we've got a lot to do. We are going to do our art project, and I will see you there. All right, so we've learned what a Japanese notan is. We realized that it's a basis of a lot of everyone's artwork, and that symmetry is the basic concept of it. So I want to, this is radial symmetry because it's a circle. Now, what can you think of that would be the same on each side, you know, like a butterfly or, how about a pizza? All right, so let's get some crust on this pizza. Lucky me, my circle was drawn already. Now, in order for this to be symmetrical, it has to be cut perfectly on each side. Now, I don't have a ruler, and if you remember in my treasure box, I had a piece of corrugated cardboard I could have used, but I'm going to test my skills here. Notice I'm going small. And you want a clue? If you want things to be symmetrical, put a little dot over here, go across here, put another little dot there, and then we're going to put a dot here and a dot here. That way we know when we join these lines, it's going to be the same size on each side. I hope. It's not perfect. Let's turn it this way because this looks a little better. It should be a little bit over here, but like I said, didn't use rulers, just a human being with my fingers. So if I want to make it a little more symmetrical, let's put some pepperoni on our pizza. You don't like pepperoni? I'm not fond of it either, but I can put some tomatoes on, 2 big tomatoes. So even though my lines aren't perfectly mathematically symmetrical, by adding these, I am creating symmetry, a balance on each side. So there's radical, Miss Linda. Radial symmetry. A lot of times words in my head are very similar, and I will say them and I will laugh because I enjoy it, because I try really hard and I'm not going to give up. So that's one way, but what's another way? What about our face? Let's see, I'll just do a circle, even though our face is more than a circle. It's got a chin on it. Let's put a chin, otherwise we'll look like a cartoon. So, lucky I have the pizza underneath. I don't know if you can see that, but I will have the axis of the face right there, right up the middle. So I'm going to put my eyes here. All right, and then you have your nose. And your nostrils are symmetrical because there's one on each side. Your lips are because they join there. You have ears on each side of your head. Those are symmetrical. So your face is symmetrical. Most of your body is. Not everyone's, because we're all different. And some of us aren't exactly the same on each side. I know that my left foot is bigger than my right foot. So bodies, butterflies, pizzas, it'll make you look at things and think, is it symmetrical? Is it even? Even a lampshade with a pattern on it. You know, cut it. You're basically cutting something in half. Not literally. You're cutting it in half with your eyes to see if you have a balance. And the Japanese Notans are an absolutely wonderful way to create the most beautiful pieces of artwork with something as simple as black and white paper. The reason I'm using black and white is, as I told you earlier, that their art process uses generally black and whites. They do use a little gray in their paintings, but I have some examples here. This is what I think we're going to start out with, is something that isn't too difficult shape-wise. Then we can get into something a little more, I don't know, artistic, something you could hang on the wall if you put a frame around it. And then this is something that you want to do once you're comfortable with it, or if you want to do something a little more advanced. To be quite honest, I was trying to recreate like flames, like on the side of hot rods, that kind of flames. I didn't, but I created a really kind of cool tribal looking piece of artwork. I'm going to show you how simple this is. You will need your scissors, and I'm going to use a glue stick. Glue sticks don't keep things glued down for a very long time, but they're much easier to use doing something like this. This piece of paper off to my side is not the correct color. I'm going to grab my red paper. I have a different color paper when I'm gluing so that I can actually see the glue. You cannot see glue on a white piece of paper unless you pick it up and move it to see if it's shiny. So we're going to use red. You have a piece of paper this big. You only want your colored piece, and if you don't have black paper, use a different color. I'm using this in honor of the Notans. And believe it or not, a safety scissors is easier to work with than the larger scissors with something like this. I'm going to do a simple design on one side, and I'm going to do a more complex, a more difficult design on the other. So we're centering this. We know that anything in the middle here cannot be bigger than this, otherwise it'll go off the edge of the paper. If it does, it's not a big deal. It just will create another view of it. I use a pencil to draw mine lightly. So I'm going to try to do a leaf. So I'm just doing, all right, it's hard to see. And then underneath it, I'll try to do that. And one more. Let's just do bumpy. All right. I'm sure it's hard to see. Now on this side, I'm just going to do something a little harder. Oh, I think that's going to be too big. Nope, maybe not. I have to pay attention to this too. And then, let's see, let's try to do kind of like a a sunburst rather, or starburst. And then down here, I think I will do something similar again. I think I'll do an upside down version of my leaf. All right, so they're drawn. Listen carefully to this. As you cut them out, and do it extremely slowly and carefully, this is where I'm going to teach you to move the paper. Chomp with your scissors, move your paper. It makes it a lot easier. Slowly. See how I'm moving the paper? Scissors will tend to bend the paper. Once it's cut out, there is something extremely important to do. And I learned this by doing it the wrong way. So what I'm going to do is, it was in here like this. So I'm going to flip it out so that you have that mirror image. And I'm going to put a little mark on it. This is the side you put the glue on. Once you cut all these out, it's going to be so hard to remember. And it's so disappointing when you've done all that beautiful cutting and you glue the wrong side of it. It's not something that you will probably not do. Miss Linda's done it, and that's why I learned to put that little dot on the back. All right, I will try to speed this up for you. All right, it came out this way. You flip it this way, and you put your little mark on the back, because this is the side with the glue. And push it off to the side. I'm going to go over here real quick and start doing these. When you're cutting out straight lines, it's a lot easier because you can clip, turn the paper, clip, turn the paper, clip, turn the paper. This probably won't look like, it might look like a pointy cloud when I'm done instead of a star. One more and one more. And what do I have to do? What's my next step? Yep, you're right. I have to flip it over and mark it, because that's where it's going to go. All right, this one will be easy. Watch me turn my paper as I cut. It's a lot harder with a bigger piece like this, but it's not impossible. And if you don't cut right on your lines, it makes no difference. All right, two more, and I'm going to glue, and then you are all going to be able to do this. And like I said, start out simple. Mark it, that's the glue side. Start out simple so that when you do decide to do something more complicated, with a little more zest to it, so to speak, you will be totally ready. I'm going to try to make this one look like a plant. Don't ask me why. I think it's because it looked like a plant to me. And yes, Miss Linda is seeing things again in everything. I actually find that very refreshing. I used to think, oh, why do I see these things? Why does everything look like something? And then I realized because I have an artistic brain. All right, is that the right side? Did I do it right? Let's double check. Does it fit? And did I flip it? I did. Okay. Then we've got that one. And then we have the other one. So I have all these pieces. The easy part is coming up. This is the most complicated part of this. Let's do an extra one. Both hands working together is really important when you're using scissors. So flip this out, mark it. All right, now you'll see why I have red paper. Let me see if I can slide this under so you can see both. So first thing I have to do is put this on. And again, I have to make sure that I'm putting the right side on. This is upside down? No, I got it right. Most of the time I do it upside down. Okay, 1, 2, look for your mark. So now it's almost virtually, I must put that upside down, like putting a puzzle together. And if you have marks, that's what erasers are for. Slowly, because you have these pieces, it will bend and crinkle up on you. If not, put your finger there. Remember, don't throw it on the floor for someone else to clean up. Now, I'm going to make sure that I glue the right side. So I'm going to put a mark here too. Double check it. It's always best to check twice before you glue. Now, open your glue stick. You don't need to open it more than that. If you do, it tends to get goopy and slimy. So this is the reason we have paper, so you can go right off of this. Makes the glue stick a much easier utensil or tool to work with. Now I can turn it up again. It's better to have to turn it up 4 or 5 times than to have a glop. Make sure you get the points in the outside. The inside is important, but these little points right here, if there's not enough glue, it is not going to stick. But you can always lift it up and put a little more glue underneath there. There's always a way to solve what seems to be a problem. If you take the time to figure out what's the best way to go about it, how can I make this better? All right, now, before I glue, I want to make sure I'm doing the right side, which is why I left these there. Now, push these off a little bit. Try to get this in the middle again. I'm going to show you another trick. Instead of putting my hands all over this, I'm going to take a piece of paper, tap it down a little bit, and watch this. Boom. Everything is flattened at once. Your hands are glue-free. How about that? Now you can go and push those corners down. All right, now we're going to do the same thing. Now see what I mean about how you can see this on here? You can aim for a spot that has no glue. Make sure you've got your mark. Now, I'm doing this faster than I would like you to because I don't want you to get tired of listening to me talk. Glue side, again, make sure there's no glue on the paper. I mean, the glue will dry clear, but it is shiny, especially when you're doing, a specific piece of artwork that you really want for someone. I noticed there was a little glue on here, so I'm using this to pick it up. So far, it's looking good. Find a spot. Now, if there's no spot big enough, fold your paper. All right. And I, again, suggest colored paper because you can see the glue. Whoop. All right, we're getting there. Isn't this cool? You could make greeting cards if you want to, haven't talked to somebody in a long time and you want to send them a hello. Oh, here's a good example. This did not glue. So I'm going to roll my glue up, do this. All right, push it down. And this was what I was going after. Always check for your dot. All right. See, it's getting a little stringy. But that is the nature of the glue, and it's something we must learn to work with. Be careful before you pat it down. This doesn't have much extra movement. Look for the dot. Now, the simple ones are easy to glue and put on. Oh, here's proof. There's a big old glop of glue. Not a big deal. Like I said, the nature of the glue. And then I'm going to do what I did with the big piece when I'm done. I'm going to take that big piece of paper and press down. Basically, you are just finishing up, creating a really strong bond between the paper and the glue. Look at that. Couple of minutes and you've got an amazing piece of artwork. This is called burnishing when you do this. You do it in printmaking. When you're rubbing all over and pressing down, you're burnishing it. All right. Whoa, check it out. So I'm done with my glue. So I'm going to fold this up so it doesn't get things sticky. This I can use for something else. I'm not throwing it away. And I've got my Notan, my mirror image, my symmetrical piece of artwork that's amazing. Now, there's one more thing. This is a lesson in symmetry that, close your glue, Miss Linda, otherwise it'll do what? You're right, dry out. Now I have my little towel so I can wipe my fingers. So we want to do a mirror image. We want this on this side. I'm going to teach you how to do it. If you measure from this tip to this tip, it's about that size. I'm going to put a dot. Now watch. When I do this, I've got that side already. Boom. This looks easy. This is not easy. Your brain will play tricks on you. If you use your pencil as a measurement, now you pinch your fingers where that is, put this here, bend it down, you've got a dot. It's a little high, but it's the right length. Let's do that again. Yeah, that was too high. My eye told my brain it was too high right away. So this one you can just go like this and like this. This and like this. The entire thing will take you a very long time, but it's worth it. Now, you can tell this comes all the way down to here, so just bring it down. If it doesn't come out right, you'll be able to download this as many times as you need to, or go in a magazine and cut out a picture of someone's face and cut them in half and try to do the other side. I love this picture. I think that's why I always use it. I think it's a beautiful illustration. It's actually a photograph that, and watch this, on the very bottom, you have the top point and the bottom point. There. Once you use these as tools, you can even do this. I've got a new idea. You ready? You could cut a piece of paper, make your own ruler. Ha ha. Now, I know that this is the starting point, so I'm going to put this here. And it's that wide. Boom. It's that wide right there. Let's see. This is the starting point. It's that wide. That wide. There's all kind of tricks to be able to get you places you want to go. See how it's not perfect because we're not machines, but it's very close. Then you can start filling in the details. This is if you want to challenge yourself, take it a step further. Like I said, go into magazines, cut things out. Have someone draw half of something and try to do the other side as a mirror image, an exact reflection. So check out Notans if you'd like to learn more about the Japanese art forms. They usually use ink when they do it. And have fun. Wasn't that fun? I had a good time doing it and showing it to you. And probably later on, before I clean everything up, I will probably make a few more just because I got really interested in it again. Sometimes when I do a class, I start relearning and re-experiencing the things that I learned and done before, and I just want to keep doing them over and over again. One reminder, don't forget to try to do this extra lesson to redraw the other half of something, whether it's this that you will have available to you, or if it's just a picture that you've gotten permission to cut in half. If you want to, hopefully you started out easy, or you paused me and worked, or you worked with me. You can always go back and watch it again. Remember that it's so important. You will never miss a thing. If you'd like to take your black and white Notan, or if you didn't use black and white, if you used, who knows, you could use a paper bag and cut out the pieces because it's a different color. Try to mount it or glue it onto another piece of paper to take that beautiful work that you did and make it into something that you can put on the wall and be really proud of. My famous last words are always, please share this with someone, teach someone else. It will make you prouder, and it will also make what you've learned go deeper inside you. Thanks again, and we'll see you next class.